back in Canada. The sixth hole of the golf course. Ski. This is called ski jewelry and pulled behind a horse.
I guess it didn't.
There's a dog team there. A hotel at this new club. Skating rink. Looking out at the Ottawa River. Dr. Platou. Mrs. Platou. No, Nancy, my sister.
It's you, Mom?
I'm not sure. That's Mrs. Somerville and her dog Binky. That's Mrs. Somerville's house. John Somerville, the Lovell boys, Barbara. The church in Montebello. This is Sherrod Academy.
Are you in this?
No, this is the senior class. It's some Shakespeare play. And that's Marjorie Rice, my friend. Doris Wolfe at the left there. Miss Goldsmith talking.
Teacher?
Headmistress.
Is this high school?
High school, yes. The gym teacher, Mrs. Lewis.
That's
in
you.
a red sweater, yes. Baseball field in the background. I had a tennis court. This is built on an estate, so they had a bowling alley in the basement and the tennis court in the yard. We're doing the maypole dance. That looks like Nancy.
Nancy went to school there?
Yes. And this is there I am, I've been coming down.
In the turquoise dress?
Turquoise dress.
Far right. So what is this, your...
This is the graduation ceremony. graduate classes coming down. I guess they're wearing white dresses.
And what year did you graduate?
I didn't graduate from there.
Oh. Oh, so you're just
The
there.
the younger people came down first. I was 2 years below, let me see. Fourth formers came down first, and these are the sixth formers.
So you were about 16 there. This is about 1940.
Probably. That's Miss Redding, one of the other headmistresses. Colonel Field, Rouleau inventor. Mademoiselle Gobel, the French teacher, and these are the graduates.
Colonel Field worked there, or just was part
No,
of
he was maybe the head of the board of directors. Ovington Avenue, Mrs. Fisher, Mrs. Field, I forget her name. Nancy with somebody who had worked. This is the Greenwood Cemetery.
It's your mom and dad?
Mom and Dad, and this is friends, the Saunders.
Son and mother and father?
Mother and father, and perhaps Janet was their daughter. I forget their son's name. It's World's Fair.
In New York?
In New York. I don't know what year it was. That was their the big round thing and the spike going up was their logo. And that's the Soviet Union building. This is at the Manor House at the Scenery Club where they had the peacock. This is somebody's home. This is Mr. Gibson and Mr. Joy was there. I think that's Phil and Eve Swart came up to visit.
How's your last name? What's your last name?
S-W-A-R-T.
It's a
Or you have
fox.
at Pine Cabin. That's a fox.
What's Pine Cabin?
A place you could go fishing.
Is it you or Nate? It's
And that's the fawn they had. And keep the fawn till it was larger. And that's might be the Papineau Brook, I'm not sure. And they had a swimming place there. They would serve meals. And you could get a guide and go fishing somewhere. And this is Eve Swart, and then my mother to the left. We're waiting. The Swartz lived at 9229 Shore Road in the apartment house where my family moved after selling the house on Ovington Avenue.
oh, so 444 Ovington was your house.
Yes. And then we moved to apartment house on Shore Road briefly, really. But there was I guess we're waiting. Oh, there the tail is spread. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, you can.
No. Back to some old John Porter. These horses with carriages were another part of the horse sport. So the horses were timed for how long it took them to get around the course, and then points came off for anything they kicked over as they were going over the jumps. That's John Porter again.
Who's John Porter?
It was a family, the road above us, the Porter family. He was one of their children. I guess this is my family's garden.
Where?
Senior Club. This is not the horse show, this is back at an informal riding place that was near the stable. That looks like Nancy. This is what they call a gymkhana. And they had games, playing games on horses, playing polo with the ball and brooms. Sports director.
This is you, Mom?
Yes, it is. I don't know who that is. Remember the name of this family. They came from Detroit on their yacht. We were having lunch. I wasn't out there. My parents were having lunch with them. That's Joe Joy. I guess that might be the yacht owner. Father. It had been a very peaceful river, so you could go out on it in a canoe. That's Mrs. Porter in the blue dress. Mrs. Lovell's sister at the other end of the...
Is that you, Mom? It's your dad?
That's my father. He'd had a heart attack. He was in the hospital in Brooklyn, Norwegian Hospital. My grandparents were visiting him.
Were his parents alive?
No.
Did you ever know them?
Yes, I did. When I was a little girl, I visited them often. They lived near us in an apartment house. Henry Shalafu. It's like a pine cabin. My father. That's my parents' garden. Mrs. Kenny and Elizabeth Kenny, and that's the husband, and that's Elizabeth Kenny's daughter. Her name's Lynn. These were two fellows we met from the Canadian Military College.
This is you and Nancy?
In the front row, not. That man's name is Duncan. That's Jim Kenny, my sister, and Newt Gibson, Joan Somerville. Having a lesson with the doctor. James Patton was his name. Mr. and Mrs. Kenny.
This is up at the club?
Yes.
That's your grandmother?
Jim Kenny, Nancy Rome. This is Harold Mitzgang, Ethel Mitzgang, I forget their daughter's name. They were friends from Long Island, maybe Rockville Center is where they lived. That was the next dog we had, Gretchen.
It's your dad, right?
Yes. And this is down in the village of Montebello, a family that had their horses down there, had horses. A young foal. We're looking over the Ottawa Valley.
Right. What is this?
British War Relief Society. Before the United States was in the war, there were British groups around raising, maybe knitting articles, raising money for something.
Is that you, Mom?
There I am. I'm flying to Canada.
This is 41.
Free jet.
Sure. You're flying on your own to Canada?
I think so.
You're flying from New York area?
Would have to be. I don't really remember where. Maybe that's LaGuardia Airport.
And was that, were you getting on that flight? I mean, I didn't see you.
I think I was.
Oh, so this is another flight?
Oh, it's hard to know. These are two cousins. Carl
It's
to the
Nancy.
left, Harold in the middle. Platou, they are.
These are Plateau cousins.
Yes. One of my father's brothers. This is Aunt Peggy's house.
In Bethlehem?
On Main
I
Street.
thought I recognized him. I think there's nothing around it. Or this is not their house then.
That's
That's
the
the back.
house. Yes, and that's the garage that was
Sure.
on. Looks just the same today.
Sure. It's
There's
just
Jackie.
the trees are a lot smaller.
Yes. And Jackie and Donald Taylor. Their parents. .444 Ovington Avenue. My father's office was in that front part of the house. And this is the fish hatchery up in Canada.
So it's your grandfather?
Yes, and Gretchen the dog.
Is your
Aunt
mother?
Liskin. No, not my mother. My grandmother and Aunt Liskin is my father's older sisters. His oldest sister. So this is where you saw the train coming in from two directions?
Yeah, I eliminated one of the directions because I didn't know which was correct.
I think that's correct, coming from Montreal.
I was trying to see if your father had a wedding ring on. Because that
I
would
don't
have told
know.
me.
I don't know if he wore a
Yeah,
ring.
And this is Nancy,
Nancy up at the house.
grandmother.
Grandmother. Lots of teas. Get together.
And hats, teas and hats,
Teas and hats.
and dresses. Now this seemed like a pretty big match you were playing here. There's quite an audience, and then you get a little award afterwards. Is this in Canada?
Yes.
So did you win? I think your thing is a little bigger than her thing. I was thinking you
Perhaps.
probably won.
I don't know who those people are. Oh, that looks like Mrs. Fleury. I don't know who that. And we're up at that fish hatchery.
So were your grandparents still driving around in their little trailer? Did they ever settle down?
They settled down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh.
Then when they went traveling, they didn't take a trailer with them. Jack Brown. Maybe they did come up again with the trailer. Mr. Gibson. That's probably Mary Beth Gibson and my sister Nancy. I was coming out of the church. John Porter holding the door. The manager of the hotel and his wife.
This is the church in Canada?
In Canada, yes. That other girl there is Margaret Porter.
Was that Nancy or you?
No, it was I and Margaret Porter, the two girls. Back at Arlington Avenue.
So is this a sequence this is out of sequence here, you think?
Who knows? No, I don't know. It's back in Brooklyn, I believe. Easter.
It's Nancy.
Nancy.
And your mother.
My mother. That's Mary Eligers and Monty Carl. That's Aunt Liskin and Uncle. We used to call him Uncle Eligers. They lived on Colonial Road. that's probably Carl, and then Mary coming down. They're David Ellicker's parents. They didn't have the baby, the child at that time. And I think that's Luddy Ellicker's one of their brothers.
Is that you there?
Yes.